Which of the following question promote critical and creative thinking in children? The correct answer is going to be one, student. Which can be the best way to save water and why? Okay, this will produce the critical thinking in the student. If you talk about other, where does water come from, this will not promote the critical thinking, student. How many states, that will also memory based. What is the name of your country and its geographical location on the map, that is also memory based. Now second question, what is the role of evidence in the critical thinking? What is the role of evidence in the critical thinking? So the correct answer is evidence should be evaluated in logical and systematic way. This is our required answer, student. Evidence should be evaluated in logical and systematic way. Evidence should be accepted without analysis, wrong. Evidence irrelevant to critical thinking, wrong. Evidence should be ignored in favor of the personal opinion. This is also wrong, student. The question number third, why does inclusive education is a entail? Why does inclusive in education entail? The answer is fourth, student. Flexibility in the curriculum as a result of recognition of individual difference. This is our required answer. Standard curriculum for all learners. This is not correct, because inclusive education required flexibility in the curriculum as a result of recognition of individual difference. Segregation, this is wrong, student. Inclusive education cannot require the segregation. Prov- prov- Provisioning of only vocational education to learners with special need, that is this is also not correct. Flexibility is the correct term, student. Now question number 4, student. Read the following statement, choose the assertion and reason are there. Jeans Piaget and Lev Vygotsky differ in their perspective on the influence of language on the cognitive development in children. Reason is, in discovery learning, teacher provides opportunity and student derived information for themselves. So, what is the correct answer should be option 2, student. Both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not correct explanation of assertion. Right, student? They are saying in discovery of learning, teacher provides opportunity and student derive the information for themselves. So it's the explanation, both are true, but this is not the correct explanation. Now the question number 5. Which of the following said correctly mention the characteristics on which a student who are gifted typically differ from other student in the class? So fifth one is, what is there, student? A and B both are correct. So what is advanced depth of the understanding? Fast pace of learning, both are correct, student. Higher dependence on the other for the understanding, rapid physical development, this is not correct. So which of the following said correctly mention the characteristics on which the student who are gifted typically differ from the other student in the class? Advanced depth of understanding, fast pace of learning. So this is now question number 6, student. Which of the following statement is correct in context of the hearing impairment, student? So correct option, hearing impairment can affect the child ability to communicate effectively. This is the correct answer, student. Now, in the context of the inclusion curriculum, learning expectation are the same in while they are different. So the correct answer should be accommodation and modification. So in the context of inclusive curriculum, learning expectation are the same in accommodation, while in modification they are different. Right. Next one. According to constructivist theorist, which of the following statement would not be correct? Okay. Constructivist, which is not correct. The learners need to be intrinsically motivated to ensure effective learning. This is the option, student. Learner need to be intrinsically motivated to ensure effective learning is not correct according to constructive theory. Knowledge is subjective, that is correct. Constructing, learner construct knowledge in their social cultural work, that is correct. Knowledge is pluralistic and multiple, that is also correct. This is the next one. Question number 9. Which of the following is example of the intrinsic motivation, student? So correct option is 2. Playing a musical instrument for personal enjoyment is intrinsic enjoyment. Question number 10, you see, student, what is the 10? Read the following statement. Assertion: teachers should work hard to break down the student stereotype of particular ethnic group. And reason is, a key educational objective is to enable student to engage in critical self-reflection. Student, a key educational objective is to enable student to engage in critical self-reflection. So what is the answer, student? Answer is the both assertion and reason are true, and reason is correct explanation. So teachers should work hard to break down the student stereotype of particular ethnic group. A key educational objective is to enable student to engage in critical self-reflection. Question number 11, students, see the question. What is the difference between mastery goals and performance goal? Okay, so option 2 is correct, student. Mastery goals are focused on improving one's own skill and understanding of the task, while performance goals are focused on achieving a high grade or receiving external reward. Student, mastery goals are focused on improving one's own skill and understanding of the task, while performance goal and focused on achieving a high grade or receiving external reward. This is the now question number 12, student. Sibling relationship. What is the sibling relationship, student? Sibling are different than the relationship with the parents and peers and play an important role in the socialization throughout the childhood. This is what is the sibling relationship. Sibling relationship are different than the relationship with the parents and peer and play important role in the socialization throughout the children. Question number 13, dear student, what is this one? Read the assertion is there. Considerable variation exists in developmental rates among the children. Reason is there. Developmental differences are an inevitable result of complex interaction of genetic and experimental variation. So what can be the correct one, student? Both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Here you see, student, what is there. They are saying considerable variation exists in the developmental rate among the children. So reason is what? Developmental difference are an inevitable result of complex interaction of genetic and experimental variation. Now we are going for the question number 14. What it can be, student? If you see question number 14, which principle of development is illustrated in the following statement? Children who are deprived of conducive children who are deprived of conducive environment for learning language in their early years have seen difficulty in picking language later in life. So correct after there is the sensitive period of language development. What is there, student? There is sensitive period of language development, student. So question there, which principle of development is listed in the following statement? Children who are deprived of the conducive environment for the learning language in their early years have some difficulty in picking language later in life. There is a sensitive period of language development. Now come for the question number. A student is struggling with the dyslexia. Dyslexia can be taught to read, student. How? Through the systematic phonological training, student. Through uh, systemic systemic phonological training, student. This is next one. The student principle, the underlying principle of the understanding based teaching in the belief that what is student, learner can construct knowledge when provided with the facilitative environment to do so. Here the student, learner can construct knowledge when provided with the facilitative environment to do so. Learner can construct knowledge when provided with the facilitative environment to do so. So the underlying principle of understanding based teaching is the belief that learner can construct knowledge when provided with the facilitating environment to do so. Now, how can a teacher help Aman, who is struggling with the complex problem, develop problem solving skill? So, students, the correct answer is option number one. Encourage him to brainstorm and generate ideas. The question is, how can teacher help Aman, who is struggling with the complex problem, develop problem skill, solving skill? Encourage him to brainstorm and generate ideas. Now, a conducive classroom environment for the learning in a middle class center around. A conducive classroom environment for the learning in the middle class center around. What is there, student? This will be the correct cooperative learning. Right here you see, student, a conducive classroom environment for the learning in middle class center around. A conducive classroom environment for learning in middle class says center around is the cooperative learning, student. Now next one, question number. Leo Vygotsky believed that development is what, student? Development is results are directly from social interaction. Result directly from social interaction. Leo Vygotsky believed that development is result directly from social interaction. Question number 20, you see, student. According to Pignet, the four qualitative different stages. According to Pignet, the four qualitative different stages are what, student? If you see here, represent universal pattern of development of children. Right? According to Pignet, the four qualitative different stages represent universal pattern of development of children. Represent universal pattern of development of children. Represent universal pattern of development of children. Now question number 21, student. What is this one? Which of the following is the limitation of Pignet theory of cognitive development? The question number 21, it will be, it does not account for the influence of culture and social factor on cognitive development. It does not account for the influence of culture and social factor on cognitive development. Question number 1 is representation. Every year Lata class 7 teacher invite a female math professor and male nurse to her class to discuss cheer in their fields region. Gender difference are innate and not acquired through society. This is what. Gender difference are innate and not acquired through society. This is. So what is the correct answer? A is true but R is false. Gender difference innate and not required through society. It is required through society, student. 23. In a progressive classroom, the student or what, student? Ask question to the teacher, correct? Do not ask many questions, that is wrong. C. Ask question to each other, that is also correct. D. Ask themselves questions. So these are three, all three are there, right? So B, C, D are correct. Question number 24, student, what it can be? Expectation associated with being male or female are referred to as what, student? Gender role throughout childhood and into adulthood, and these are learned. Expectation associated with being male or female are referred to as gender role throughout childhood and into adulthood, and these are learned. Gender consistency, that is not correct. Gender stereotype, not correct. Gender bias, that is also not correct. Question number 25, you see, student, what is question number 25? Which of the following views about intelligence support the respectful consideration of diversity among learners? Which of the following views about intelligence support the respectful consideration of diversity among the learners? What is the correct one, student? Intelligence is multidimensional and can change over time. Intelligence is multidimensional and can change over time, student. Next one, who among the following who among the following critic the concept of general intelligence and proposed an alternative theory of intelligence, student. So if you see 26, this is the Howard Gardner is the person, student, who critique and concept of general intelligence and propose alternative theory of intelligence. 27, Lawrence Kohlberg theory has been critiqued by Carol Gilligan. For what, student? It is for the ignoring gender difference in moral reasoning. Ignoring general gender difference in moral reasoning. Now the question number 30, 28, you see, a teacher want to help her student develop the metacognitive skill. Which of the following strategies would be the most effective? Which of the following strategy would be most effective? So 28 we are seeing here, the option 2 is correct. Encourage student to reflect on their own learning. Encourage student to reflect their own learning and evaluate their progress. Encourage student to reflect on their own learning and evaluate their progress. Question number 29, student, what is there? Assertion: teachers should ask student to identify their own example and non-example of the concept for strengthening the concept. Right? Teachers should ask student to identify their own example and non-examples of the concept for strengthening the concept. Reason: thinking of example lead to strengthening. Thinking of example leads to strengthening of the concept, while non-example tend to confuse the student. While non-example tend to confuse the student. So it's to be the answer number one. A is true plus R is false, right? So question: teacher should ask the student identify their own example and non-example of the concept for this training. Thinking example leads to strengthen the concept, while non-examples tend to confuse the student. It's not correct. Now question number 30. General principle of learning suggests that the student learn better if a teacher if a teacher first introduce the concept overall and then move on the intricacies of it and move to the, so firstly introduce the concept overall and then move on the intricacies of it. This is the question 30. Now we are having the mathematics. This is the mathematics section. होने वाला कुछ है नहीं भोसड़ी के, चूतियागिरी तो चल रही है मेरी।